You can have a smaller portfolio and still be living better in retirement than someone worth several times more. Not because money doesn't matter. It matters enormously when you don't have enough. But once a reasonable level of security exists, something else starts to matter just as much. Whether you can actually use the freedom your money was supposed to create. Some retirees keep building wealth long after the original purpose of that wealth has been achieved. Others make a different transition. They learn how to turn financial security into time, peace, relationships, purpose, and experiences they can actually enjoy. That transition can be easy to miss because it rarely looks dramatic from the outside. It shows up in small decisions, ordinary routines, and the way money feels in daily life. And the signs are often surprisingly ordinary. The first sign is that you can spend without feeling like you failed. For decades, being responsible may have meant saving, delaying gratification, watching expenses, and protecting the future. Those habits can build real security. But retirement asks for a skill that feels almost opposite, using some of what you spent years protecting. For some people, that shift is emotionally difficult. A dinner out feels wasteful. A trip feels irresponsible. Helping an adult child feels dangerous. Replacing something before it completely breaks feels indulgent. The question is not whether spending is always wise. It isn't. The question is whether every intentional expense still feels like a threat. There is a difference between spending that weakens your security and spending that your security was built to make possible. When you can enjoy the second kind without turning every purchase into a moral test, something important has changed. You are no longer treating accumulation as the only acceptable use of money. If you enjoy calm, practical conversations about retirement and the psychology behind money, consider subscribing. The second sign is that you protect your time more than your portfolio. A strange thing can happen after retirement. Work disappears, but the instinct to optimize everything does not. Some people replace meetings with markets, performance reviews with portfolio reviews, and career metrics with constant financial monitoring. There is nothing wrong with paying attention to your finances, but attention can quietly become occupation. If your retirement gives you the freedom to spend a Tuesday morning walking with a friend, reading, visiting family, sitting in a cafe, or doing absolutely nothing useful, that time has value even if it produces no measurable return. At some point, the portfolio is supposed to become infrastructure. It supports the life. It is not the life. The third sign is that your relationships do not depend on your net worth. Money can become psychologically present in relationships even when nobody intends for that to happen. Questions about inheritance, gifts, financial help, housing, travel, and lifestyle can slowly change the atmosphere around family and friends. This does not mean wealthy retirees have less authentic relationships. It means that when money becomes more visible, it can become harder to know when it is shaping expectations. A powerful sign of lived wealth is that you still have relationships where your value has nothing to do with what you can pay for, leave behind, or provide. People call because they want your company. They spend time with you without an expensive plan. You can say no to a financial request without believing the relationship will collapse. You can say yes without believing generosity is the price of belonging. That kind of emotional security cannot be measured on a statement. The fourth sign is that you no longer need to look successful. For much of adult life, status can hide inside perfectly normal decisions. The neighborhood, the car, the vacations, the restaurants, the memberships, the size of the house. Retirement does not automatically remove that pressure. Sometimes it simply changes the way it shows up. Luxury is not the problem. If you genuinely love something and can comfortably afford it, there is no virtue in pretending otherwise. But there is a major difference between luxury you enjoy and luxury you feel required to maintain. If you can drive the older car because you like it, downsize without embarrassment, choose the simpler trip, or stop competing with people who are not even competing with you. You have gained something that a larger net worth cannot guarantee. You have gained the ability to let your spending reflect your preferences instead of your audience. The fifth sign is that your health still lets you use your freedom. Money creates options. It can create comfort, access, flexibility, convenience, and help. But it cannot make every stage of life equally usable. There are experiences that depend not only on money, but also on energy, mobility, confidence, attention, and the willingness to go. That does not mean retirement should become a race against time. It means that endless postponement has a cost that does not appear in your investment account. The trip you can comfortably take at 67 may feel very different at 82. The hobby you can start now may become harder later. The people you want to visit will not always be available on your schedule. A healthy relationship with money includes protecting the future. It also includes recognizing that the present has its own form of scarcity. If you would like to explore some of the ideas behind today's topic more deeply, I've left a few helpful resources in the description and pinned comment below. The sixth sign is that you have something to wake up for. For decades, work gives life structure, whether you love the job or not. There is somewhere to be, something to finish, someone expecting you, a problem to solve. Retirement removes many of those structures at once. Financial freedom can solve the problem of having to work. It does not automatically answer the question of what makes a day feel meaningful. The retirees who seem to live well often have something that gives shape to the week. It might be grandchildren, volunteering, gardening, golf, a church community, a class, a small project, travel planning, a part-time role, or simply a group of people who expect to see them. Purpose does not have to be impressive. Sometimes purpose is just having a reason Tuesday matters. The seventh sign is that ordinary days still feel good. This may be one of the clearest signs because most of retirement is not a vacation. It is breakfast, errands, phone calls, a walk, making lunch, reading, seeing a friend, fixing something around the house, sitting outside in decent weather. If life only feels rewarding when the experience is bigger, more luxurious, more exclusive, or more expensive than the last one, even substantial wealth can start to feel strangely insufficient. The standard keeps moving. A better hotel becomes normal. The nicer restaurant becomes expected. The special trip becomes the baseline for the next trip. There is nothing wrong with enjoying any of those things. But if a quiet afternoon can still feel satisfying, you have protected something valuable. The ability to enjoy life without constantly increasing the price of admission. And that leads to the eighth sign, the one underneath all the others. You know what enough feels like. This is different from knowing the number in your retirement plan. You can calculate a target and still never emotionally arrive. You can reach one milestone and immediately create another. Then another. Then another. Not because you are greedy. For some people, more money continues to represent safety long after the practical need has changed. Accumulation becomes a habit. Monitoring becomes a form of control. Growing the portfolio becomes proof that you are still being responsible. And if you never develop an internal definition of enough, every level of wealth can feel temporary. Enough does not mean careless. It does not mean you stop planning, stop investing, stop protecting against risk, or pretend uncertainty no longer exists. It means you know what your money is for. You know which risks actually matter. You know what lifestyle you want to support. You know what you are protecting. And at some point, you allow that protection to serve the life it was designed for. That is why the other 7 signs matter. When enough feels real, spending does not automatically feel like failure. Time becomes something worth protecting. Relationships do not need to revolve around what you own. Status becomes optional. Health becomes a reason to use some opportunities now instead of postponing all of them. Purpose does not have to generate income to be legitimate. And an ordinary day does not have to become more expensive to feel worthwhile. This is the paradox. A much richer retiree may have more options on paper. But if fear, habit, status, or the need for one more level of security prevents those options from being used, the extra wealth may not change daily life as much as expected. Meanwhile, someone with less may travel more freely, sleep more peacefully, spend more time with people they love, enjoy simpler days, and feel less pressure to prove anything. Not because less money is better, because money has finally changed roles. It is no longer the score. It is the tool. Financial wealth gives you options. Lived wealth is being able to use them. And if you have ever wondered why using your money can still feel uncomfortable even after you have built real financial security, watch the video on your screen next. It explores why the habits that help us build wealth can make it surprisingly difficult to enjoy it.